Hey, today we'll be taking it a little chill and we'll be building some fun projects together. So for today, I'm thinking of creating a simple Leetcode solver where if we pass it a given question, let's have the app generate out a simple solution. So this would be a little fun project which hopefully we can go through the thought process of conceptualizing the idea to the rough idea of having a simple architecture for this app. And we'll also be showing how we'll be building this application step by step. And the goal is hopefully to have a fun experiment, a fun time where you get to pair together with me on how you can create your first project. So in this case, we'll be using Python for this prototype application. And to be specific, we will be using this prototyping app called Streamlit, where we are able to create a simple prototype in a few lines of code. On top of that, we'll be using another powerful language model called GPT3, which is a generative pre-trained transformer. So transformers are a type of neural network where it has been trained on a huge corpus of data. And how it was trained is that given a corpus of data, it will have to optimize itself such that it is capable of predicting the next word token, and they're able to generate token by token, and that corresponds with the huge corpus of data that it trains. And surprisingly, this model from OpenAI GPT3 has proven to be really exceptional at many of common tasks, such as understanding problems and coming up with a solution. So normally, OpenAI's GPT product is quite expensive, but this time we are quite lucky to have access to one of the Codex models, the same models that's used to generate code in GitHub Copilot. So if you are not familiar with GitHub Copilot, I would highly recommend you to take a look. And we're going to take a look at this free model, which is free as of July 24th. And the private beta is expected to end this month or next month, but hopefully you will get a chance to use this model. That said, even if the private beta is over and you wish to replicate this project but not pay money for it, you can use GPT-J. That is an open source smaller variant of GPT-3. And I will be covering how we can do that in a separate video. So we can use GPT-J to do more cool stuff, but at scale because the usage is free. But with that, just to show you a little bit on how using OpenAI's API, where we get access to the GPT-3 model, can really help us solve like questions on Leetcode pretty decently. So for example, let's try getting a simple problem. Let's go for, let's say, a medium question, which is typically found in technical interviews. So let's copy this question and paste it here. So this, what you see on the playground over here, is the input to OpenAI, to GPT-3. And in this case, notice that on the first line, we can see that there is an instruction to the language model to give us a Python solution. And we're also asking to leave comments exactly for how the solution solves it. So previously, before I started this video, I tried this with two sums and it worked out pretty well. Like it was able to generate the solution. And I was even able to test this out with a friend, like a good friend of mine. And we were able to solve a Leetcode hard question with that. I wouldn't recommend using this like for just learning purposes. I mean, like I would recommend to only use this app for learning purposes and just as a little tutorial to let you put this project on your GitHub profile. But anyway, let's paste the Leetcode question that we just copied and paste it here. So let's paste it here. And notice in this case, what I'm really doing is I'm just copying the examples and the Leetcode question inside here. And let's back this. And once we press submit, GPT-3 will be auto-completing and giving us back the Python solution. And notice, as you can see, it gave us a simple Python solution. Okay, I see. And I guess in this case, it doesn't look like it is a full solution actually. Perhaps the maximum length was exceeded. Let's try increasing the number of tokens that it can output. That's probably why. As you can see on the right, there's actually a couple of controls that we can use to generate the completion. But for now, I will be leaving the settings as it is. If you are interested, we will be coming up with another video to explain each of the settings that you see on the right. So anyway, it generated a solution. I'm just going to copy this and try using this as a solution. Let's run this against some sample test cases. Okay, we actually got the wrong answer. Expected 708, output 1. But you get the idea. Like, even though GPT-3 is not foolproof, the Codex model was trained on quite a large corpus of GitHub code. So let's try with another simpler question. Let's see if we can generate, let's say, palindrome number. So I could have corrected that solution, but that's out of scope. So let's just paste it here. Okay, let's paste it here. Okay. Let's paste it here. Looks good. Let's place a Python solution. Completion here. Creates a simple palindrome function. Interesting, it actually generated it twice. Well, as you can see, this model is not foolproof, but let's try copying this and paste it here. And let's see if this passes the test case. Oh, it got accepted. Just so you know, I'm not really going through the question, but you get the idea. This model is powerful enough to solve some of the simpler questions. And sometimes, if you are lucky, it can even give you the solution for harder questions. Well, to be fair, I noticed that it didn't exactly follow the instruction. It didn't really give comments to show how the problem solved it stepwise, but it's okay. We can leave the optimization of the model's performance to another video. But this is hopefully a good demonstration for how we can use OpenAI's API to really do some cool stuff regarding Leetcode questions. And for today, we're going to combine that with this library from Python, which allows us to create prototype applications. And over here in this API reference, you can see that you can get many common components that you would see in a typical front end. So for example, notice that OpenAI requires an input from us. So we probably can have a multi-text component that is created by Streamlit using one single line of code. And what we can do is we can get the input from this component and make an API call to OpenAI and get back the completion and display it back to the user. So in short, it's going to be a very simple application. So if I have to illustrate this, let's try, let me draw this thing here. So what you have over here is a Streamlit application. Let's call this as Streamlit. And what we are really doing is we're just making some API calls to another service, which is OpenAI. Let's just call this GPT3. So that's pretty much it. So this application is a very simple project. It just consists of two working parts, just the Streamlit application, which is pretty much the front end as well as the back end. And this Streamlit application would just pass the input that's from you, which is the Leetcode question, pass it to GPT-3 and get back the input, and get back the output and display it to the user. So that's pretty much it for how it's going to work. So I'll be cutting off this video first, and I'll be showing a couple of videos step by step for how we built this. So that's pretty much the end of the demonstration for the app that we're going to build, and we will be building on top of this, and you get a chance to see me code this all out in Python, and hopefully this will be a nice project for you on GitHub. So with that, I'll see you in the second video.